In this section, we want to learn about the greatest common factor and factoring by grouping. GCF is the abbreviation of the greatest common factor. Let's learn about that with examples. We want to find out the GCF of 12a cubed and 40a to the fifth power times w. In this case, the numbers and characters are combined. We want to think about those two different subjects separately. For numbers, we factor each one. For example, 12 is 4 times 3. Then we can rewrite it as 2 times 2 times 3. 40 can be written as 8 times 5. That can be rewritten as 4 times 2 times 5. And then again, that can be written as 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. Then we will circle the same factor 2, 2, and here 2 and 2. So GCF of 12 and 40 would be 2 times 2, which is 4. If numbers are bigger, then we have to set up the strategy, which will be very similar to how we work out GCF of a cubed and a to the fifth power times w. When the pattern goes like this, what we want to think about is what is the common base number? Common base number are a and w is not common because that doesn't appear in the first one. And then we will take the smaller degrees one. If we think about the similar pattern of analysis we did in the previous one with number, then a cubed can be written as a times a times a, and a to the fifth power can be written as a to the fifth power times w can be rewritten as a times a times a times a times a times w. Then we circle the same one. Then obviously a cubed, the smaller degrees one, will be the common factor, and that's the greatest common factor. After we go through this process, we can conclude the problem. GCF of 12a cubed and 40a to the fifth power w comes from the multiplication of the GCF of number and characters. So that becomes 4 times a cubed. Next problem is we wanna figure out 8w squared and 9a to the fourth power. This is simpler than the previous one, so let's just decompose the numbers and characters. Then it'll be 2 times 2 times 2, 4, 8, and w squared is w times w, and 9 is 3 times 3, and a is a times a times a times a. So we cannot figure out the common factor because none of them are common. So we conclude that there is nothing in common. In this case, the common factor will become 1. So when there is nothing in common, that implies GCF is 1. In the next problem, we want to factor 4x plus 6. What we want to do is we want to figure out the GCF of each term. So we figure out GCF of 4x and 6. 4x can be written as 2 times 2 times x, and 6 can be written as 2 times 3. If we circle the common factor, then 2 appears in both. So GCF is 2. So we can take out 2 here, and this one was written as 2 times 2x, so we will write 2x here, and 6 was 2 times 3, 2 is taken out, so we have to write 3 here, but 6 is added, so we add 3 there. The next problem is 10m squared minus 4m. Let's decompose 10m squared, then that's 2 times 5 times m times m. And then we have 4m, then that's 2 times 2 times m. So we circle the common factor. Here 2 appears in both, and m appears in both. There is no other common factor. So GCF is 2m. That means we have to take out 2m to factor 10m squared minus 4m. Let's take that out. Here in 10m, we can reorganize to write 2m times 5m. In the second one, we can rewrite it as 2m times 2. So these 2m are taken out. So what we have to write down as a first term will be 5m and minus The other factor is 2, so we write 2 there. In the next problem, we want to factor by grouping. What we want to do is we organize the terms according to the order, the power. So this is the highest one, and then second degree, first degree, and degree 0. And then we combine the first two and the last two. So what we have to do will be we have to take out what we have to factor the first group and second group, and then we will find the common factor after that again to conclude the problem. From the first two terms, GCF of 5W cubed and 15W squared will be, if you can go faster, then you can go faster. You don't have to go through this step. You should be able to find this one as 5W squared. So 15W squared is 3 times 5 times W times W. So 5 is common and 2 W's are common. So that's 5W squared. So what we have to do will be, when we understand 5W cubed plus 15W squared, that can be rewritten as 5W squared, open parenthesis, W is remaining, so W plus, here 3 is remaining, so 3 here. That's the factoring of the first group. And then for the second part, we can rewrite the second part as minus 1 W plus minus 1 times 3. So minus 1 will become a common factor. So we take out minus 1, then minus 1 times W plus 3. So that's the second part. So given algebraic expression can be rewritten as 5W squared times W plus 3 plus minus 1 times W plus 3. Here, there are two factors for each term. Then we just group like that, and then we realize that W plus 3 is the common factor. So we take that out, W plus 3, then open parenthesis, 5W squared minus 1. That's the factoring by grouping. The next problem is negative 8W squared minus 16w plus 2x plus wx. Let's rewrite it to negative 1 times 8w squared plus negative 1 times 16 times w plus 2x plus wx. We want to think about the first two terms and the last two terms. In the first two terms, the first one can be written as negative 1 times 8 times w times w. And the second term can be written as negative 1 times 8 times 2 times w. So when we consider the common factor, that'll be negative 1 times 8 times w. In the second group, the common factor is x. Let's combine all those information. Then in the first two terms, the common factor is negative 1 times 8w. From the first one, the remaining one was w because it was w squared. So w in the second one, the remaining one, after we take out negative 1 times 8w is 2. So w plus 2. And this x was the common factor. In the second two term, so we take out x, and then the remaining part is 2 plus w. Then we observe what's happening. We have two groups again, and in two groups, w plus 2 are common factors. So we take that out, then that becomes w plus 2 times negative 1 times 8 can be written as negative 8. So negative 8w plus x. If you don't like minus as a first term, then you can write w plus 2 times x minus 8w. Doesn't matter.